All right, so episode 2 of She-Hulk is available now on Disney Plus. This will be my non-spoiler/spoiler review. I'm going to talk about the non-spoilers, then get into the spoilers. So for those of you who don't want any spoilers for this episode, or the last one really, then I will tell you when to click off the video. But as for right now, my non-spoiler review for this episode, it's called Superhuman Law, second episode of She-Hulk. And I gotta be honest, I really didn't like this episode a whole lot. Biggest spoiler I will give about this episode is that we get to see Jennifer meet Tim Roth's character, Emil Blonsky/Abomination. We do not see him as Abomination form in this episode, but I'm sure we will eventually. We saw it in the trailers, so we will get that eventually, but it's good to see Tim Roth again. It's cool to see Jennifer Walters interact with him and take his case, so we'll see what that entails going forward. But yeah, kind of an underwhelming episode, to be honest. It feels like another setup episode. Last episode, it made sense because we had to get her origin. We kind of had to set up her character and her relationship with Hulk. But this episode is kind of setting up the more lawyer aspect of things. So it makes sense why this is a setup episode, but hopefully by the next episode, they can actually really get things going. It makes sense why this is 9 episodes because the episodes are just so freaking short. You really can't do a whole lot with that runtime. Overall, not a bad one. If you have not watched this episode yet, but you've watched the first one had an after credit scene. This one does as well. This one is not as fun or as funny or even as cool as the last one, but it's there. So I suppose I should probably tell you about it just so people don't skip past it. I'm sure there's going to be one every episode, kind of like a joke after credit scene. But yeah, underwhelming episode. I did watch this episode twice because these episodes come out at 3 a.m. for me. But honestly, I could barely remember anything from the episode too. So it's just like, I really don't know how I feel about this one. I liked the first one enough, but this one just really underwhelmed me and kind of has me a bit nervous going forward. But the fact that we're seeing Daredevil eventually still gives me enough hope for this show. The CGI doesn't look awful in this episode. I mean, there are a few moments where it looks a little stiff and a little weird, but for the most part, the CGI isn't really anything that takes me out of the show. Let me see here. I still like Tatiana Maslany as She-Hulk / Jennifer Walters. In this episode, because in the review for the last one, I was like, she seems more confident as She-Hulk than Jennifer. But here, we're kind of seeing her more confident as Jennifer than She-Hulk. And I know over time that's going to change. So I'm happy that she's not just like, she immediately nailed everything. And then she's just like, all right, now let's kick some ass because I'm She-Hulk. You see she's conflicted, so I appreciate that. Yeah, I think that's really all I have to say in terms of non-spoilers. I know not a whole lot, but I just wanted to kind of let you guys know, the people who have not watched this one yet, kind of what I'm thinking about the show so far. I'll probably do a small little non-spoiler review before each review of each episode, before I get into the spoilers, but yeah, just to kind of let you guys know how I feel about it so far. First episode was pretty good. This one really underwhelmed me and has me a little bit nervous going forward, but hopefully they can turn it around. They still have 7 episodes left to do so. So, yeah, there's my non-spoiler review for episode 2 of She-Hulk on Disney+. Definitely go check it out if you have not watched it yet. Even though it's not my favorite episode, I still recommend you guys watch the series because it's freaking Marvel. And there's still things I enjoy about it. Let me see here. Let's get into the spoilers. So for those of you who have not seen episode 2 of She-Hulk, or really even episode 1, I recommend you click off the video now and go check them out and come back. If you don't care, stick around. But yeah, click off the video now if you don't want any spoilers for episode 2 or even episode 1 of She-Hulk. You have been warned. Let's get into it. We find out in the very beginning that Titania is a superpowered influencer, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, I hope we see more of Titania. We haven't seen her in this, or we didn't see her in this episode, and we saw her only very briefly in the last one. I really like Jamila Jamil, so hopefully they bring that character back and we get to see a little more of her. I'm sure we will. Jennifer gets the name She-Hulk from the news, and then everybody just kind of calls her that, kind of harking back to the point where Bruce is like, I don't pick the names. You don't pick the names. But yeah, she definitely did not pick that one, and it seems like she doesn't like it very much. Because Jennifer hulked out in court, she ends up getting fired from her current position. So she's out there looking for work, and I think it's called GLKH, is where she's working now with Steve Coulter playing Holden Holloway. I don't like this guy very much. I mean, you're kind of not supposed to, but at the same time, I don't like him because he just seems a little too cartoony. Part of me is wondering if he's actually a scroll, but excuse me, I almost coughed on my own saliva there. That's kind of gross. But yeah, Steve Coulter as Holden Holloway. Don't mind him so far, but he seems a little cartoony, kind of like one of those. He seems like Lumbergh from Office Space, just like being an awful boss. So I don't know how I feel about that yet. And then he said that they prefer to have her in She-Hulk, or else she doesn't really have the job, because that's the whole point of it. They want She-Hulk to be the face of it, the new superhuman law division, that is. We also meet Josh Segarra as Pug, the other person on the superhuman law division. I think there might be a little bit more to his character, but this guy also played Adrian Chase on Arrow for the CW. So hopefully we see a little bit more of him going forward. Mark Ruffalo, there's a scene as Smart Hulk where Jennifer calls him about the Abomination case that she's about to take. And, we learned that him and Abomination, they're like cool now. He wrote him a really nice letter and a haiku. And so they're cool. It's a lot of years ago. They're both different people. Supposedly, I don't know about Emil Blonsky there. I think he might be kind of lying a little bit about his true intentions. But yeah, we find out that Smart Hulk is actually on that Sicarian ship we saw in the first episode and in space heading God knows where. So we'll see what that entails. Maybe he does have a son like in the comics, or maybe we're getting a setup for Planet Hulk. Maybe I don't freaking know what they're doing, but I'm really curious to find out. I don't know if we're going to see that in this show or not. Probably not, but it's a possibility. There's still 7 episodes left, and I don't know when we're going to see the Hulk next. So really curious to see what's up with that. We meet some of Jennifer's family, and here we meet her father, Mark Lynn Baker, who plays Morris Walters. We also meet Aunt Melanie, played by Candace Rose, Uncle Tucker, played by Michael H. Cole, and Nicholas Cirillo, who plays Cousin Ched. Yeah, so her family's kind of cool. We don't see a whole lot of her. Her dad seems nice. I think I might have missed a cast member there, but oh well. Just the little family moments I thought was fun, and that's even what the after credit scene is just her helping out her dad, mounting a TV to the wall, carrying water jugs in, lifting a car up so they can look at the tire. So yeah, didn't care for that after credit scene a whole lot. That was just like, did I need to watch that? Not really. Let me see here. We see Jen meeting Emil Blonsky. And he's like, oh, I'm on loan to the U.S. government, and I have 7 soulmates that I met through the pen pal system that he wants to start his life with. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of funny. It could be like 7 women that he just, wants to marry. But at the same time, he said soulmates, not women or, even men for that matter. I think that these people could be the 7 people, along with Emil Blonsky, that we might be seeing in Thunderbolts, but I could be wrong. I do think there might be a little slight Thunderbolt setup there, but I haven't really seen anybody say much about it, so I don't know. Yeah, towards the end of the episode, Holden Holloway, he's like, hey, turn on the TV after Jen calls him and is like, hey, I'll take the job. And we see the footage from ShangChi where Abomination is fighting Wong in that nightclub. And that's kind of where shit goes down. She's like, oh, that's not good. So it seems like maybe this takes place during ShangChi. Like ShangChi simultaneously is taking place during this show. That would be pretty freaking interesting. I have no idea, but what if we saw ShangChi in this show? That'd be so freaking cool. For those of you who don't know, I really like ShangChi. I probably rewatched that more than any other MCU movie. But yeah, we'll see what's up with that, what people end up saying about it, and what obstacles that Jennifer has to overcome because of this new revelation. I'm guessing we're going to see Wong next episode, so excited to see that. Wong is the dude. He shows up in a lot of shit. But yeah, there's a funny line in here where Jennifer's dad is like, hey, what does Hawkeye do with all those arrows? Does he go around and like gather all those? And I was like, that's the question everybody's been asking for a long time, my dude. Yeah, so let me see. I don't know if I have a whole lot else to say. I think I kind of covered it all. Not a super long review for this episode, but, not a whole lot. I guess you couldn't you can't really say not a whole lot happened because like a decent amount happened, but I don't know. It's a short episode, so like you can only really do so much with it, and it's not like they're gonna put like five different crazy things in one episode that's only like 31 minutes long with credits. So I do think the length of the episodes kind of does this show a little bit of a disservice, but at the same time, I'm still having enough fun with it to still be invested and still watch it. I'd be watching it regardless, let's be honest, but it's Marvel. I watch everything Marvel. But yeah, there is my non-spoiler and spoiler review slash kind of breakdown for episode 2 of She-Hulk. Those of you who are still around, hope you watched the episode. Wow, that guy's a douchebag. But yeah, hopefully you watched the episode and you didn't just accidentally watch the spoilers and get everything spoiled for you. But yeah, what did you guys think of this episode? I'd like to know. Comment down below. Tell me what you thought. And don't put anything huge with spoilers in there. You know, the only thing you can talk about a little bit is that Emil Blonsky thing, but you can only really talk about the fact that he's in this episode. You can't really elaborate on that because there are people that might have clicked on this episode that came for only the non-spoilers. So be nice in the comments. Don't spoil stuff for people. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. And I will be back tomorrow with my review for 2022's Beast starring Idris Elba.